All right, Arlo, explain something to me. Why is modern astrology so obsessed with calling water signs emotional wrecks? Everywhere I look, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces are painted as moody crybabies.
By the blazing constellations, Ella, that is exactly the problem. Modern astrology flattens the water element into nothing but feelings. In traditional astrology, water runs deeper. It is about generation, nurturing, and creative fertility.
Creative fertility? You mean like making art? Or babies?
Both, and much more. Remember when we talked about the classifications of the signs? Water signs are considered fruitful, even prolific, because water is cold and moist. It supports life, growth, and memory. It adapts, it absorbs, and it sustains.
So you are saying Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces are not just sensitive types who cry at sad movies?
Far from it. Each water sign expresses its element in a completely different way. Yet all three carry profound power. They are tied to the mysteries of the body, the depths of the unconscious, and even the passage of time itself.
All right, you have my attention. Show me how these so-called crybabies are actually as deep and powerful as you claim.
Gladly. In this episode, we are diving beneath the surface to uncover the myths, meanings, and real significance of Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces in the birth chart. Prepare to see these signs in a whole new light. By the blazing constellations, welcome back to episode 21 of Learning Traditional Astrology. I am Arlo, your host on this cosmic adventure, and with me is our amazing crew, Ella, Clara, Katrina, and of course, our dependable AI companion, Cherry. Great to have you all here.
Hi everyone. Water signs have such a reputation for being overly emotional, and I think that is really unfair. I am so excited to look at them more deeply today.
Same here, Ella. I am Clara, and I have been especially curious about how the elements shape the traits of each sign. It is fascinating to see how much depth they add to chart interpretation.
I'm Katrina. Every single episode feels like opening a door to a world that is older and wiser than I ever imagined. I cannot wait to learn more about these signs.
Greetings. I am Cherry, your astrological AI companion, ready to provide references and insights from the masters of tradition.
Thank you, team. With this group, I know we will make some real waves today. Our focus is on the third elemental triplicity, water. These signs are far more than just emotional. They are fertile, imaginative, and deeply nurturing. So let us begin our journey with the first of the water signs, Cancer the crab.
The crab is such a strange symbol for a zodiac sign. Where does it even come from?
By Cancer's grasping claws, it has quite a history. Cancer has been linked to all sorts of hard-shelled creatures. In China and Babylon, it was the tortoise. In medieval Europe, people saw it as a crawfish or lobster. The Egyptians connected it with the sacred scarab beetle that pushed the sun across the sky. But the crab itself comes from Greek myth. When Hercules fought the Hydra, Hera sent a crab to bite his feet, hoping to trip him up. The brave crab grabbed hold of his toe, but Hercules crushed it. Impressed by the crab's loyalty and courage, Hera placed it in the heavens.
That is so fitting. A crab looks tough, but it is soft inside. That is exactly how I think of Cancer.
Great observation, Katrina. The sun reaches its peak at the summer solstice in Cancer, which makes it a cardinal sign. Does anyone remember what that means?
Cardinal.
I get why it is cardinal in the seasonal framework, but I do not really see Cancers as go-getters.
That is because Cancer energy works differently. How does a crab move the fastest?
Sideways.
Exactly. Cancer can burst into action when needed, but it prefers to approach things at an angle, especially when taking risks.
And Cancer is ruled by the moon, which is the fastest moving traditional planet. That gives the sign a strong capacity for change.
Right. And the moon changes every day, just like the tides.
Good point. It is also worth noting that Mars is in its fall in Cancer. Mars, which usually thrives on direct action and confrontation, struggles here. Instead of charging ahead like in Aries or Capricorn, Mars in Cancer can become overly defensive or overprotective of loved ones.
That actually makes more sense now. But it is interesting that Cancer is ruled by the moon even though the sun is strongest in this season. You would think Leo would fit better.
A good observation, Clara. The moon reflects the sun's light, so the two luminaries work together in a natural cycle.
And Cancers are famous as caretakers, often the mom friend in any group.
That may connect to the moon's association with women and motherhood, especially since the moon's phases have long been linked to the menstrual cycle.
They are very family-oriented too. Sometimes they can be a little cliquish, choosing to stay close to people they trust. There is also this stereotype that Cancers are stingy. Why is that?
Cancer is the exaltation of Jupiter, so it has a talent for saving, investing, and building resources. It is the ultimate nest builder. Because the sun begins to weaken after the summer solstice, Cancer seems to know instinctively that winter is coming and starts preparing early.
Which body part does Cancer rule?
The breasts, which fits perfectly with its nurturing symbolism.
That definitely connects.
Cherry, tell us what Valens says about Cancer.
Valens writes, Cancer is the house of the moon, feminine, solstitial, the ascendant to the universe, slavish, downward trending, mute, watery, noble, changeable, public, popular, civic, prolific, amphibious. Men born under this sign are ambitious, popular, constantly changing, theatrical, cheerful, easily downcast, pleasure-loving, party-giving, public. Unsteady of mind, they say one thing but think another, and not sticking to one activity or, at the most, two, they become wanderers and travelers.
Constantly changing, just like the moon and the tides. That image of a wave rising and retreating really fits a cardinal water sign.
Yes, and the crab myth makes so much sense now. It is hard on the outside, soft on the inside, moves sideways, but will risk everything to protect the ones it loves.
By Cancer's grasping claws, I think you both truly get the Cancer archetype now. Let us move on to a water sign that meets challenges head-on. Scorpio, the Scorpion. By the Scorpion's stinging tail, our next water sign arrives at the height of autumn, as the air grows colder and the nights get longer. Let us talk about Scorpio, the Scorpion.
Like Leo, Aquarius, and Taurus, Scorpio is one of the fixed signs, right?
Exactly. It is the fixed water sign.
Fixed water, so basically ice?
That is a perfect image. Some astrologers liken Scorpio to an iceberg, with most of its mass hidden below the surface. Others compare it to deep, still water filled with sediment.
That makes sense, since Scorpio is considered fertile and prolific like the other water signs.
Yes, and Scorpios often seem calm on the surface, but there is always so much going on beneath.
Absolutely. Scorpio loves to dive deep into any experience or subject. It wants to understand everything down to its core. Think of the rich mud at the bottom of a river that nourishes plants when floods bring it to the surface.
The constellation itself is huge, right? I remember hearing that Libra was once part of it.
That is correct. Scorpio was one of the largest constellations known in the ancient world. The Greek poet Aratus even called it the Great Beast because of its size.
And what is the myth behind Scorpio?
In Greek myth, Gaia sent the Scorpion to slay Orion after he boasted he could kill every wild creature on Earth. To this day, Orion sets in the west just as Scorpio rises in the east, as if fleeing the sky to escape it.
Funny how the little crab failed against Hercules, but the Scorpion took down Orion.
I am curious about Scorpio's link to fertility. Is there a mythological reason for that?
There is. In Christianity, the Scorpion was a symbol of death and betrayal, but in Muslim cultures it symbolized sexuality. In pre-Islamic Mesopotamia, the Scorpion was linked to goddesses of love and fertility.
That makes sense. Many species of scorpion perform a kind of dance before mating, and they are some of the most devoted mothers in the insect world, carrying their babies on their backs until they can survive alone.
I have also seen Scorpio connected with the eagle. What is that about?
That is a later association from a Christian symbol called the tetramorph, representing the four evangelists. John the Apostle was symbolized by an eagle, which later became linked to Scorpio.
I guess the eagle works for Scorpio too. It is martial like Mars, but it soars to great heights rather than going deep.
It also fits with the phoenix. Scorpio has strong ties to transformation, death, and rebirth.
Modern astrology really pushes the intense and sexual side of Scorpio, but I feel like there is more to it.
Indeed, the stereotype about Scorpio sexuality partly comes from older symbolism. In medical astrology, Scorpio rules the groin, including the reproductive and excretory organs. These areas were considered private or taboo, which carried into astrology.
And Scorpio is ruled by Mars, correct?
By the scorpion's stinging tail, yes. As Mars' nocturnal home, Scorpio fights differently than Aries. It is less about direct confrontation and more about strategy, patience, and the perfect strike at the right time. Sometimes the quiet hunter is more powerful than the loud warrior.
Which planets are weak in Scorpio?
Venus is in detriment in Scorpio, as it is opposite Taurus.
That makes sense. Scorpios are not frivolous, and when they care deeply. There is nothing casual about it.
Exactly. Traditional astrologers also saw Scorpio as the fall of the moon. The moon, which is ever-changing, struggles with Scorpio's emotional intensity and tendency to hold on tightly.
That matches the nature of fixed water. Scorpio does not let go easily.
Cherry, tell us what Valens says about Scorpio.
Scorpio is the house of Mars, feminine, solid, rainy, fecund, destructive, downward trending, mute, servile, unchangeable, the cause of stenches, a destroyer of property, ecliptic, having many feet. Men born under this sign are tricky, base, thieves, murderers, traitors, incorrigible, destroyers of property, connivers, burglars, perjurers, covetous of others' property, accomplices in murder, poisonings, and other crimes, haters of their own family.
Yikes! Traditional astrologers really had it out for Scorpios.
Maybe so, but remember Scorpio is ruled by Mars and was considered a bestial sign. These descriptions reflect a harsher worldview, but they still show us just how powerful and dangerous Scorpio was thought to be.
It really captures the idea of Scorpio being intense, deep, and transformative.
Well said, Katrina. Now, let us move on to the last water sign and the final sign of the zodiac, Pisces, the fish. By the swirling fish, as the sun moves into Pisces, winter begins to fade and the first signs of spring appear in the northern hemisphere. Pisces marks the final chapter of the zodiac year, coming just before the fresh start of the spring equinox and the sun's entrance into Aries.
So because it bridges two seasons, Pisces is a mutable sign, but what is the story behind its symbol?
It is actually two fish, swimming in a circle but tied together by a cord. Traditional astrologers called Pisces a double-bodied sign, like Gemini and Sagittarius. Many ancient cultures linked the two fish to complementary pairs. The Babylonians saw the western fish as the swallow and the northern fish as the goddess Anunitum, Lady of the Heaven. The Greeks told a story of Aphrodite and her son Eros. When they fled from the monster Typhon, they jumped into a stream and became two fish tied together by a string. That is the symbol of Pisces we use today.
Aphrodite herself was born of the sea, so the water connection feels natural. But Pisces is not Venus's home, is it?
No, but Pisces is Venus's exaltation. This sign is generous, emotional, and deeply spiritual. It resonates with love, grace, the arts, and all forms of higher pleasures.
So Taurus might represent physical pleasures, Libra romantic ideals, and Pisces the idea of spiritual love.
Exactly. Each of Venus's signs expresses a different side of her nature.
And the fish is such an important Christian symbol too. Is there any link?
Yes, around 7 BC, a triple conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn occurred near the central star of Pisces. Some believe this could have been the Star of Bethlehem that signaled the birth of Jesus. Christianity later gave Pisces more meaning, with the miracle of feeding the multitude with 5 loaves and 2 fish, and the disciples being called fishers of men.
Pisces really does have that theme of sacrifice. It connects so well with the idea of giving of yourself for others.
And its ruler Jupiter reinforces that. Jupiter is the planet of faith, generosity, and higher meaning. Pisces' emotional openness works in harmony with Jupiter's benefic nature.
I know some Pisces who are almost too generous. They never seem to know when to stop giving.
It makes sense. When you live in an ocean of emotions, it can be hard to know where you end and someone else begins.
Exactly. This is why Mercury is in both fall and detriment in Pisces. This sign is not concerned with structure or strict boundaries. The fish care more about spiritual connections than material details. They often dissolve barriers between themselves and others.
That explains why Pisces is the only water sign without a shell. Without that protection, they are more vulnerable, but also more able to merge with others.
Or just slip away when things get tough. Cancers retreat into their shells, but Pisces can vanish like smoke in water.
True, Pisces might lack structure, but they are incredibly adaptable and creative. It makes sense that astrologers often link them to the arts, especially music, poetry, and theater.
Venus's exaltation in Pisces likely plays a role in that. She is a strong patron of beauty, harmony, and the arts in this fertile water sign. Cherry, what does Valens say about Pisces?
Pisces is the celestial sign which is feminine, moist, quite wet, bicorporeal, with many offspring. Mossy, scaly, sinewy, hump-backed, leprous, two-formed, mute, motile, with rough skin, in conflict with itself because one fish is northern, the other southern. It is moist, downward trending, servile, changeable, with many offspring, bicorporeal, sociable, lewd, with some limbs missing, the cause of wandering, varied. Men born under this sign are unsteady, unreliable, changing from bad fortune to good, sexy, thievish, shameless, prolific, popular.
Those are some colorful descriptions. It really emphasizes how mutable signs carry that sense of changeability.
Which makes sense. Mutable signs exist at the turning point of seasons, when everything is in flux.
Exactly. Pisces, in particular, is about trying to merge two worlds into one whole. The two fish swim in opposite directions but are bound together. Few signs can live with contradictions as well as Pisces.
And Aphrodite and Cupid were lovers, so Pisces also carries that drive to unify and dissolve the boundaries between self and other.
I love how much depth we have uncovered about the water signs.
By the swirling fish, so do I. Now let us wrap up with a summary of what we have learned today. By the blazing constellations, let us wrap up everything we learned today. Katrina, you are up first. Give us a quick summary of Cancer.
With pleasure. Cancer is a feminine, nocturnal, and cardinal sign. It is phlegmatic and part of the water triplicity. Cancer is the only sign ruled by the moon. Cancer is calm, receptive, emotional, and protective. It can be very defensive of loved ones. Planets placed here often take on nurturing and maternal qualities. In medical astrology, Cancer rules the chest, breasts, and stomach.
Great job, Katrina. Now Clara, tell us about Scorpio.
Scorpio is a feminine, nocturnal, fixed sign. It is also phlegmatic and part of the water triplicity. Scorpio is the nocturnal home of Mars. Scorpio is passionate, intense, secretive, and sometimes obsessive or jealous. It can be deeply driven and persistent. Among the body parts, Scorpio rules the bladder and the genitals.
Excellent, Clara. Ella, your turn. Summarize Pisces for us.
Pisces is a feminine, nocturnal, and mutable sign. It is phlegmatic and belongs to the water triplicity. Pisces is the nocturnal house of Jupiter. Pisces is compassionate, dreamy, artistic, and impressionable. It is generous and self-sacrificing, with a strong pull toward imagination and creativity. Pisces rules the feet in medical astrology.
Wonderful work, team. And that brings our journey through the water signs to a close. We have now explored all 12 signs of the zodiac. In the next episode, we will take on a brand new topic, planets and signs.
I cannot wait for that one.
If you enjoyed this episode, do not forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. We love hearing from you.
Until next time, keep your eyes on the stars.
Bye.
Transmission complete. Logging off.